It's time for the 3rd annual Halloween Night Marathon, and I bet you can't guess which movie. We are going with the Friday the 13th series. As always, we have Phil. Seller's back for a 2nd year. For the first time, we have Rob. And Travis. Today we have 12 movies to get through. I know you're not going to be here by the end.
No,
I know you guys aren't going to be.
No.
I doubt you will.
I wouldn't bet on it. Yeah.
Friday 1 through 8, Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, the new Friday the 13th, 2009.
12.
You're going to see a marked decline in the quality of the time-lapse because we're shooting the in-between summations of the movies this time in nice high def, and the time-lapses in iMac computer camera. Let's get started.
Here we go.
That should do it.
I'm sure Ralph will turn back up again. Doomed! Can't spell doomed without doomy.
No way. No.
Is she gonna hang
herself?
Yeah, she's like, it's over. Oh man.
Wow. Very
Way
nice.
to go, Alice.
Whoa. Uh-oh.
You hit Elsie's breaking point.
Yep.
Whoa!
No going back. Friday the 13th. Woo! Yeah.
Good time.
It was fun.
It was good.
It was fun.
It's the first time I've ever seen it, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty solid flick.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's like, I was worried it was gonna be like slower than it was, but like the kids kept me involved, us joking around kept me involved. but yeah, so, once again, this is gonna be filled with spoilers. For the entire Friday the 13th series, so
Don't ruin this for me.
here we go. Friday the 13th starts with a bunch of kids arriving at a camp that's been closed for a long time.
About to reopen since, what, 58?
58,
Yeah,
yeah.
they said, yeah.
22-ish years it's been closed.
Right.
They're getting together, fixing stuff up, getting ready to open it up again, and people start dying.
Yeah.
Violently. Just picked off one by one, like in dark cabins and stuff, and then at the end a woman shows up saying she's Mrs. Voorhees. Her son Jason, who attended the camp, drowned in the lake while some of the counselors were having sex.
Right. And
Or making love.
Right.
Let's not
Words.
sully it. They could have been.
Her words were
They're
making
young.
love.
It's love. Let's not sully what the camp counselors
What
were up
magic they had.
to. Yeah. Mrs. Voorhees has been murdering all the camp counselors.
Right.
A couple of them were in the midst of various...
I mean, she let them have their fun first.
Yeah,
It's just like,
arrow through the neck.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise, then they're not guilty if they weren't doing something they weren't supposed to.
Right.
You
Yeah.
gotta wait for them to commit it.
Except Alice. Alice did nothing.
So that
she smoked the drugs while
The-
playing
sure.
Monopoly.
Oh, that's
while
true.
playing strip Monopoly.
Okay, fair enough. And it's implied that Alice was involved with the owner of the camp prior to.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So she's
she's not
as culpable.
Right.
Okay.
That's true.
At the very end of the movie, Alice apparently has a dream sequence where the little boy Jason comes out of the lake, grabs her, and pulls her in.
Right. And the cop says that they pulled her out of the lake. So does that mean that she was really pulled in by a boy?
Yes.
Maybe.
Or-
That's what I take.
Seller says so, but everybody else says that it was a dream. Like, everybody's saying it was her psychosis after this evening of
Like she
horrors.
fell out of the boat.
Yeah.
I like the motive that Mrs. Voorhees has. It's legitimate and entirely founded. Like, it makes sense. Like, she has a reason to be pissed.
She's clearly snapped.
No, right. But and that's why that's why it makes it okay.
Yeah.
Is that she sees, oh, you're the same kind of terrible people that caused my son to die. Yo.
Like,
Yeah,
You know,
Jason still talks to her, which
Yeah.
is like,
Had a nice reverse psycho moment there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Reverse psycho.
Yeah,
She
it
pulled a
absolutely
total reverse
is.
psycho.
Yeah.
Performances were good. Introducing Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
This movie.
Bad dive off the dock, but yeah.
and really well directed. There was like cool like shadows of the axe and cool reveal of like cut phone lines. It was nicely directed for like tension and suspense. This being the first time, I thought I was going to disrespect this movie a lot more than I did. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Well, and the orchestra, too.
Yeah,
yeah.
orchestral
Like the
score.
full orchestral score was pretty cool.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Until
Really
we get
great
to the
score.
phasing synth piano.
Yeah, at the very end, they bring in the phasing synth piano.
Right.
Less than a year later, we get part 2. Everybody ready?
Oh!
That was quick.
Contrary to what everybody hears, bears are dangerous.
You know, somebody's gonna get murdered and he's gonna blame it on bears.
Yeah.
name of that character with the shorts?
Beware of bears.
See? I told you it was coming back! Whoa!
Nice.
He's really easy to physically overcome.
Yeah.
Done your job well, and Mommy is pleased.
Whoa.
The score got really, like, sweet really fast.
Oh, and you know what happened last time they did it?
Friday Part 2, who wants to do the recap?
The first 6 minutes of the whole movie was a recap of pretty much the end of the last movie.
And then our final girl, Alice,
Got the axe in her house.
Ice pick.
With ice pick. But then the story is camp counselors are gathering for training at the Camp Crystal Lake Training Center, which is across the lake from Camp Crystal Lake. Basically, they start dying off one by one.
Yeah.
I mean, classic.
Where have we seen that before, you guys? Right. Overall impressions, I liked it a lot.
Oh yeah. Overall moved much better, and again, the best thing about this movie for me was our survivor girl, Ginny, putting on Mother's sweater.
Okay, now here's the deal. Like, we gotta back up before that.
Yeah.
Jason, apparently, is a person now.
Right.
Like, where before he was this child of legend who drowned, now it's apparently a full-grown man.
So Alice died 2 months after the Camp Crystal Lake incident.
Sure.
So Jason came back for a revenge kill.
Yeah.
So he's actually a grown man when Camp Crystal Lake happened.
Yeah. We find this run-down, like, trailer where Jason's been living.
Right. In the middle of the woods that's just off of the camp.
And we find out at the end that he has a shrine to his mother. He's got his dead mother's head on the table.
He had another head there too, which I'm guessing.
Well, it's like some of the bodies that he killed earlier were scattered around.
Which then makes me think they were offerings to his mom.
Probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And his mom's sweater was there. So when our final girl, Ginny, is running around getting away from him because he is a bad killer, you guys.
He's a terrible killer in the second one.
So anyway, in order to get the drop on Jason, Jason's got her cornered in the shrine room. She finds his place, and then she puts on Mom's sweater and starts talking as though she's Jason's mother.
Yep.
Stops him from killing her so that she can try and machete him.
And then at the very end, Jason jumps through a window without his mask on, so we get a full look at his face.
Yeah.
And then he pulls Ginny out of the window. But then
it's a fade to white.
We fade to white, and then we cut to her on a gurney.
A gurney being put into an ambulance.
Being put into an ambulance, and so she's alive.
But she was just with Paul, and she's like, "Where's Paul?"
And
no answers.
And no answers. Yeah.
And then the ambulance drives away, and that's like the end of the movie.
So
we have no idea what happened to Paul.
Paul's gone, and Jason let her live?
Or what?
Was it a dream?
We have no idea now.
We have no idea.
At what point did that dream start?
Right.
When the dog came back, maybe?
Well, see, but is that dog we saw earlier the dead dog? So was that the dream?
Right. No, that's...
Yeah.
Okay, we're a little confused.
Yeah.
The first movie was a lot less gory than I expected. There wasn't much gore in Friday the 13th.
No.
Part 2 really upped the gore factor.
Yeah, it did.
Although I feel like the body count was kind of similar. 10 for the first movie.
Probably 10 around here.
Yeah. Friday the 13th, Part 3, the one in 3D.
Season of the Witch.
Nope.
Oh. Yeah, this bothers me though, because these people are just minding their own business.
Right.
Ma'am.
This came out of nowhere.
This is
May I
weird.
please have the wallet?
What movie did we put in? I feel like this should be further down the Jason list for how bad it is.
Right.
Shelley.
The origin of Jason's mask is that the most annoying character in the history of film was wearing it as a prank.
Yeah.
Why is it raining blood? I'm not gonna look up.
Where's this coming from?
Oh my god!
Who? You've been lifting weights.
Where's that coming from?
There's always like the last female.
It's like he chokes under pressure. He's like,
There's only one more left.
Perfect
This
one,
one.
you guys!
This is my Halloween resurrection.
What can we say about Part 3?
Mere days after the second movie, come across a small grocery store with very poor sanitation standards.
Yeah.
Suddenly Jason's killing people that are not involved in any way with camping or teenagers.
Yeah, they just own this store.
Yeah.
And he's killing them because they
Random
have clothes
adults.
that he wants to change into.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We flash ahead to our teenager crew for the show.
Kind of half teenagers.
Group of people who don't really know each
Yeah.
other.
They don't
Kind
know
of.
each other.
Yeah.
They have no
Don't know
reason
enough.
to be together at all.
And an actor named Shelley.
Shelley.
So we go off to Shelly's parents' summer home for a weekend of love and
Reliving old memories from the woods where Jason attacked her once.
And then we go on to the biker gang showing up at a different grocery store. So apparently there's 2 grocery stores in town.
And it was
And a biker gang.
And a
There's
biker gang that
Of
showed
3
up.
people.
Yeah.
Shelley, the actor, almost runs them over,
Yeah.
which results in them, the biker gang, coming back to mess with them by trying to set the barn on fire at the lake house.
They did not succeed.
No.
Jason killed them for no reason.
Those were
Yeah.
the only good kills Jason had basically the whole movie. They were
Yeah.
quiet, quick, and really good and violent.
Yeah. And then once again, Jason just starts picking people off.
Yep.
Just cause.
So far, we'd had a code that is like, you know, drugs, sex, and alcohol.
Anybody who
Dead.
wants to be a camp counselor,
Right.
you're
Or
dead,
you're dead.
Jason.
Yeah. But then this one broke all those rules, and now he's just a psychopathic murderer.
Who's a lot stronger and bigger.
Coming through the window, after he throws the one guy through, he looks 7 feet tall.
It was so poorly written, you guys. It's so boring.
Yeah.
Part 3 is so boring.
And let's not forget that it starts off with a flashback from the second movie.
Yep,
Yeah.
another 5 or 6 minutes.
With our heroine surviving, dream sequence going off crazy.
Yeah, every
Right.
movie ends with the final girl who got away from Jason imagining or going crazy or dreaming that
He came
Jason's
after
still
her
after.
again.
either Jason's still after or somebody's coming at them out of the lake, either Jason or the mom or
Right,
something.
Right.
And it's just a series, like nobody cared.
Nope.
Right. Yeah.
There's nothing
no.
to care about. And the people that we might have cared about, again in the second movie, with Ginny and Paul, they never follow up. We
Yeah.
never find out if they're alive and okay and sane or anything.
Just
There's
know
zero
that
follow-up.
Ginny went to the hospital, and you just get that in the news report.
Right.
And that's it.
And that's it.
The only thing about this movie is that this is where Jason gets his mask.
Okay, so Shelley, this really annoying character, is always playing pranks on people. Yeah, because he's an actor.
Yeah.
I'm an actor!
I'm an actor. I do crazy things.
Yeah, he's doing all these jokes and pretending to stab people. Has a full-on wetsuit,
Comes out of nowhere.
like spear.
yeah,
spear gun.
Spear
But
gun.
you know what? Even though he had a full wetsuit and a spear gun, he puts a hockey
a
mask on.
hockey mask on to come out of the water.
How is that? That is how Jason gets his mask
Yeah.
from Shelley, the prankster.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter.
If it's anything like the third one.
Oh my god.
What are you hunting for out here?
There. Anybody up for like today?
Nice.
Get Crispin Glover!
Oh man.
Not supporting this.
Was she sent from the future just to destroy
Seriously.
1980s teens?
She kind of looks like Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
So they know our weak spot.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's their A story. Is Crispin Glover good in bed?
No, I don't care.
That was awesome.
Damn!
The prime time, bitch!
What?
Whoa!
Last action hero.
Yes.
Underwear shot.
Oh!
That was amazing.
You would hit it.
Oh!
Oh, yeah. You would hit it into a jump.
Oh!
Oh!
Summary. We got a 3.5 minute recap this time of all of the movies.
And then, same night as at the end of 3, they take Jason, bring him to the hospital. He's dead, like dead.
It's dead.
Like
Dead-ish.
he's
dead-ish.
finally not moving. Somehow, comes to life when 2 nurses, a male nurse and a female nurse, start going at it.
Right.
Jason comes back to life and kills them both very violently. A group of teenagers hangs out at a house or something near a family.
Next door, yeah. All it is then is just people getting picked off over and over again. In the family next door, Corey Feldman is this young 10-year-old boy. He makes masks and everything, which didn't really come into play.
Nope.
I guess it's supposed to set up the fact that he can get into character.
Okay.
Oh.
Sure,
And then-
because he reads this article that Jason was this boy who drowned in the lake. And so during the final confrontation when Jason's trying to kill his sister, he shaves his head, till he looks gnarly and he's like, Jason, remember me? Although, he's pretending to be young Jason, so...
I don't want to interject, but the fact that he is still only at the clipping part when Jason's in the house, you would not be able to shave that much hair off your head that quickly.
So that's the only part that's not realistic to you?
Yeah, that's the only one. Other than that, this could happen any day of the week.
Good.
But it's just the shaved head thing.
Young Tommy Jarvis pretends to be Jason long enough to get his hands on the machete, and then he starts chopping at Jason's head. And Jason like falls down and slides down the machete in a really awesome effect. But that's basically it.
13. 13 kills.
13 kills?
Yeah. 14 if you count Jason.
Alright, 14 kills. That's probably a record.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
For the series so far.
The bear hunter we need to talk about. It's this character that gets introduced as a hitchhiker that actually has the best story, but then really serves
no purpose.
Yeah. He has the best story in the fact that Jason killed his sister.
Yeah.
We're just supposed to assume that it's one of the B characters in the other movies.
Alright.
You think he's going to be this big hero, he's got the machete, he's willing to charge in, and then he just gets hampered pretty easily.
Yeah, he's got this whole setup. He's got maps, he's got a rifle, a machete. He's like, I'm going to find Jason. Are there any kids camping in the area?
Yeah.
We could have served a lot of time like talking about vengeance and stuff like that, but completely ignored, gone, dead. Better than 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not as good as 1 or 2.
No.
Because it was really slow. There was no momentum to a story. It was just, here are the kids, let's do hangout scenes and kill scenes.
Well, I think that the problem is that we've established is that Jason now doesn't have his own credo that he's following anymore. In 1 and 2 it was like, don't disturb Crystal Lake and don't be a camp counselor.
Those were the 2 things.
Those were the 2 things.
Now it's just, if you
cross his path at all,
he will kill you.
Like, they killed the mom for no reason.
Alright, on to 5.
Yep.
What's the name of this one?
New Beginning.
This is the absolute test of whether a screenwriter cares or not. While digging, all they say is, yeah, come on, dig faster, dig. They just talk about exactly what they're doing. They could be talking about other stuff.
We're really spending a lot of time establishing this character. Wow. Okay. That's why we were establishing.
Wow. Damn! Something's about to go. Someone threw that cat!
That cat.
That poor kitty.
Did not jump.
He started it.
No, seriously.
Nita?
Pinta?
Hey girl, what's
Santa
up?
Maria? Yep.
She headed for the win.
Not as many cars cease functioning in like Halloween or
No,
Nightmare.
not like this.
Is there something about Jason? He sends out like an EMP or something?
Ah!
Whoa!
I feel like I'm supposed to know that guy.
Yeah, you are. A new beginning. First time there's no recap. We see little Tommy Jarvis, still played by Corey Feldman, go to Jason's gravesite. Apparently someone took the time to bury him. A couple of hillbillies come along and hoot it up while trying to dig up Jason and be like, I want to see the man himself. Jason, as soon as he's unburied, comes back to life, stands up, kills the hillbillies, goes to kill Tommy Jarvis. Boom! It's all been a dream. Tommy is actually several years older, 17, 18 years old. Has been traveling through institutions his whole life, ends up in this institution in a farmhouse with some other troubled youths. As soon as he gets there, one of the really angry youths is chopping wood, kills another one of the kids who is under the care of psychiatrists there. The ambulance drivers come, take him away. People start getting killed, like people on the side of the road, and people having sex in the woods, and people doing drugs in a car, and then people who are using an outhouse and singing to each other. Which is the weirdest thing. Yeah. And finally, to the
halfway house.
Yeah, like a halfway house for troubled youths. Yeah. All those kids get killed. Tommy Jarvis, one of the psychologists, the grandson of the caretaker, are left to battle Jason, which they do with a backhoe.
Chainsaw.
And then this, like, bed of spiky things. We find out then that once Jason is killed, that it wasn't Jason ever. Jason did not appear in this film. Only as Tommy Jarvis hallucinations, and then the guy was actually the kid who was killed in the beginning. His dad was the ambulance driver. As soon as he saw that his son had been axed, went crazy, killing everybody. They changed the markings on the mask to try and show you that something was off. Well, they called it A New Beginning, so it could have just been A New Beginning.
Yeah.
At the end, Tommy Jarvis is in the hospital. The psychiatrist lady comes to check on him. He is wearing the new mask, and he raises the knife like he's going to kill her. The end. The thing is, the kills were a lot less seen.
Not seen kills.
Like, you see, like, a raised weapon, and somebody, like, you see a close-up of their face, and then the weapon drops and comes back up, has some blood on it. You've been seeing contact kills in a lot of these movies, and this time, most of them were just implied. And then you see the aftermath.
For a slasher,
Yeah, and you go to a Friday the 13th movie, like 5th in the series, you can at least expect to see contact kills.
full gore, blood spurts. There's been eye poppings, you know, hand stabbings, and like you see all of that.
One thing I did appreciate is that a lot of the characters in here, though many of them were kind of like just caricatures of certain like stereotypes or whatever, they all had something going on, and they were all a little bit of personalities.
The problem is then you also had people like the hillbillies.
Which were the worst.
They were the worst people.
They, like, biker gang, hillbillies. Like,
Yeah,
which
oh my God.
is worse?
The biker gang makes more sense to me than just having two redneck hillbillies who are just, like, yelling at each other about stew for the entire time they're on screen.
I still had a pretty decent time with this picture. I think it moved a little faster than 4, even.
Oh yeah.
I was bored.
Yeah.
I was bored just because, like, and we talked about it a little bit during the movie, just, like, the callback kills don't do anything for me. Like, I know that people probably really enjoyed, like, Kevin Bacon with the arrow through the neck because it was really cool at the time.
Yeah.
But I don't need every movie to have a under the blank stab.
Yeah.
But something that I did like, that considering how not creative a lot of these kills have been, were shears that he stabbed it into her eyes and then closed it.
Yeah. We'll see what they do with 6. I think this is when we get into, like, zombie Jason territory. Here we go.
James
Did
Bond
we just get a James Bond?
Yeah. Now he is the Jason of my youth, you know?
Yeah, now he's the Jason I always thought he was.
Yeah. You're in a different movie than everybody else again. They have one character always who's like doing the broadest comedy possible. How are you a company exec?
You said this is great, 8,000.
Awesome.
I'll come pick you up.
I love you
What
so
the
much.
hell?
I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you.
So is Jason only allowed to come back on Friday the 13th?
Ooh.
No.
Everybody moves very slowly in these movies. He was following regulations, Phil.
Yeah, you're right. Man with bloody machete after falling near your dead partner. Let's hear what he has to say.
You got him. You got Tommy.
Oh, that was cool.
We are halfway through. This might be Sellers' last one.
Okay.
Oh, actually, yeah, it might be.
Go ahead.
Tommy's back, recast.
Again, 3rd time.
They actually don't even reference the 5th movie.
Yeah,
No, not at all.
If I was looking at a timeline, I'd say that they ignore that the 5th movie exists.
Okay.
Yeah, they go to dig up Jason's body. Tommy goes nuts, impales him with a piece of fence, and says, I need to burn the body. Lightning strikes the pole. Zombie Jason is born.
Boom.
He proceeded to punch the friend through the stomach all the way through and killed him. Tommy goes to the town sheriff and says, oh god, Jason's back, we need to stop him.
Yeah.
Town sheriff says, you're crazy, I'm gonna lock you up, you need to chill out. And as things start to escalate where people start to die, like camp counselors and stuff, very responsible camp counselors on the
Yeah,
ad.
for the first time, they actually have kids at the camp for the first time, too.
They actually have kids.
Actual camp is in session for the first time in the Friday series.
So as the people are dying, the sheriff thinks that Tommy's doing it, and the way that it's proven that he's not is because he's hanging out with the sheriff's daughter, who inexplicably wants Tommy. She tries to prove to her father that he's not killing anybody because she says, well, he's been with me the whole time. And then Jason goes to the camp and almost ends up killing a bunch of kids, etc., etc. Several counselors die. And Tommy says, I have a plan. He needs to be put in his final resting place. Gets a rock.
Sure.
And puts a chain on it. Jason fights him in this canoe on the lake, and then Tommy just barely gets the chain around his neck, it falls. Appears to have strangled Tommy to death. Tommy is not dead. The sheriff's daughter takes the boat motor to Jason's head and knocks his neck and part of his skull, and nice brainy bits fly about.
Yeah, but he's still chained at the bottom of the lake.
He's still chained and he's still alive because the last shot is his eye, like, oh.
This has become very jokey now. A lot of fun is being had. They reference the fact that they're in a horror movie at least once.
I've seen way too many horror movies to know when you see a guy in a mask, you turn around.
Yeah, it's taking itself a lot less seriously.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, right before the title, Jason has a James Bond moment where we see in Jason's eye and it looks like the circle, and he walks out like James Bond, turns and slashes. I mean, completely changed its tact now.
And I'm okay with that because I had a way better time with this than I've had in
I
the
was
past
ready
several
for
movies.
something to change.
Yes.
Yeah, well, like, it breaks the monotony of the slow, boring machete kills.
Even so, like, each of these movies has a midsection where once we have established Jason is back and he started killing people, and before the end battle, they have like a couple counselors or people, depending, just walking around quietly, looking around, with the idea that it's building tension, but it's just kind of boring.
We lost some of the kills that we thought were staples throughout all of them. The throwed up stab through.
Yeah.
So we lost a couple signature kills, but the kill creativity was more fun this time.
Oh yeah.
7. The New Blood. What? Oh! When you say mental hospital, do you mean you used to be a cheerleader?
Yeah, because that's pretty much all I'm into.
What? She's hiding behind her mom.
Now is when it lost me.
Yeah. New Blood. What they meant by the New Blood is that they had a telekinesis movie that they threw Jason into.
Yeah.
That is, do we even need to do a synopsis? Because that was it.
That's basically it.
This young girl named Tina sees her father abuse her mother, and then she runs out onto the dock and jumps in the boat.
A direct continuation off of 5, where Jason's still at the bottom of the lake, tied to the rock. And we see, that's the first opening scene, is him just hunched over at the bottom of the lake.
Her dad comes out and is like, "Come back, Tina!" She's out in the water in the boat, and she's like, "No, I hate you, don't hit Mom!" And she destroys the dock and kills her dad. We do a Tommy Jarvis jump, and she's much older. She's a teenager. They bring her back out to that lake years later to try and resolve these issues of hers. Develop her telekinesis, because she made the thing move, the dock move with her mind, and resolve her feelings of guilt about killing her father.
The doctor's only reason was to develop her telekinesis.
Right.
We're led to believe that those are the reasons why she's brought out there, but that's not the case.
There's a house of kids next door. What? They are awful. So she goes out to the lake and for some reason brings up Jason?
I believe she felt a presence underneath the lake that she thought was her father.
Okay.
And it turns out that she just broke the chain that was holding Jason down.
She was like having an emotional episode and then it happened, but yeah.
So Jason gets free and just starts killing everybody. Some quality kills in this one. Was this a sleeping bag one?
Yes.
Yep. Girl in a sleeping bag and slammed her against a tree. First time we see it. I know that one comes back. Jason just kills everybody and it's up to Tina with her telekinesis to battle him in the end. The dumbest thing is that...
Yeah, worst Jason death by far.
Yeah.
Is she essentially resurrects her dad, which, okay.
I guess.
And then he jumps out of the water.
A little bit of skin issues.
Yeah, a little bit of skin issues, and he's somehow strong enough to overpower Jason.
He's got a chain.
Hook him around the neck, and then pull him underwater, where that's the last you see of him for the movie.
And then Tina's boyfriend wakes up, and he's like, "Oh, Jason!"
Yeah,
and
she's been knocked out for hours.
Yeah, and
because it's daylight.
She's like, "We got him." Credits roll. I was severely bored. Most of the time.
Yeah, this was Dullsville, USA.
It was largely boring, but again, like I said during the movie, at least this group made sense. They were together to throw a surprise party for a friend. They felt like a big group that had subgroups in it, because that's usually how big groups go. In that aspect, it did very well, as opposed to several others so far, where it was like, why are these people together?
Yeah, whereas 3 actively annoyed me, 7 just bored me.
And I wonder if how much was that is just that this didn't reinvent the wheel. It's just like this is the 7th movie in a series where Jason's killing kids.
Yeah.
Like, eventually you're just gonna start dulling on the...
Well, and unlike 6, which was more jokey, this one lost the jokes and kind of went back to formula, adding a little telekinesis for flavor. Oh, here we go. Jason takes Manhattan.
And there were 2.
Oh, Phil. What is happening?
If you were a jokester and you did this to a woman, do you really think it's gonna help you?
Eliza would hate to be fake stabbed.
I already have so many questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No, this is happening right now.
It's an empty dance.
Ho 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 ho! I mean, I'm sure he's gonna get back on the boat, come back when we need a savior, buy some time for the main character to get away, box his way to victory. And by victory, I mean a slow, painful death. How right am I? We're 60 of 100 minutes in, and we haven't gotten to New York.
Now you are learning the joy of Jason Takes Manhattan.
There is a maniac trying to kill us.
Welcome to New York.
New York.
Call that! It was fantastic! And on a serious note, no, never watched this movie.
This young couple from a high school, from Lakeview High School, which is Crystal Lakes High School,
Yep.
are taking a boat around, and they drop anchor to start making whoopee.
Thank you for using the Sims language.
The anchor hooks on a power line which electrifies Jason back to life. He kills them, takes their boat back to a pleasure cruise which is taking the graduating class of 8 people on this huge cargo ship.
Yeah, we're not even talking like cruise line ship.
He kills a bunch of people on the boat, and then they get onto like a little lifeboat and they row to New York. And he gets to New York. 15 to 20 minutes in back alleys, which are like sound stages. 10 minutes in actual New York.
Yep, Times Square and subways, and that's all you get. The tonal change that I feel takes place when you get to New York. I feel like from the start of the movie to the boat is supposed to be classic, scary Jason. He's killing people, there's supposed to be suspense. You get to New York, and I feel like it completely changes because part of it is Jason becomes the hero by killing the druggies who are about to rape the main character.
Yeah.
And then him walking through New York and people not paying attention at all. And then when they do, they're just like the gangsters who get their boombox kicked and they just like, he shows them what he looks like underneath and they run away.
Yeah.
And I feel like the movie doesn't even know what it's doing.
No, this movie is, again, a really hard thing to sit through. But I'll tell you this, these last two are the first two where Kane Hodder plays Jason.
Yeah.
And I like Kane Hodder a lot. I like the way he plays Jason. And the makeup at the end of 7, even though 7 was boring as anything, once she gets rid of the mask with her telekinesis, the Jason makeup underneath that mask is amazing. And Kane Hodder's doing all this like jaw adjustment stuff and like super like rage breathing, and it's probably the coolest Jason has been in the series. Agreed. Number 9.
Woo! We're out of the box set.
We are out of the box set. Jason Goes to Hell. That is a fully blown up Jason.
Okay.
Why is she walking so mincingly slow?
Because it's a
if
Friday
she's
the 13th
concerned?
movie. There's so much slow, boring walking in the dark in this series.
I guess when I heard Jason Goes to Hell, I thought most of the movie would take place in hell.
You should have learned from Jason Takes Manhattan. This sounds like some Michael Myers mythology here.
Mine's fair.
That's Evil Dead book.
Necronomicon?
That's the Necronomicon.
Yep.
That is the exact one from Evil Dead. Oh! Somebody tell her what she has to do.
No, everyone keep that a secret from her until the last possible second. You have to stab in the heart!
The what? The what?
Just to be clear, Jason's heart crawled up the vagina of his sister.
Yeah.
Is that the Kruger hand?
Yep.
Yep. I was picturing Jason, a lot of fire and brimstone, making his way through maybe the 7 trials of hell, killing people, of course, throughout.
You expected a bogus journey.
I was thinking a very violent, bogus journey through hell.
This is what I expected too when I first heard the title. Eliza has joined us.
Hi!
The movie starts off, there's a girl who's essentially coming back to Camp Crystal Lake. Obviously Jason shows up, tries to kill her, turns out it's an ambush, sets Jason up, Jason gets blowed up by the SEAL team.
It was an awesome opening to a movie.
Yeah, I got excited, and then I immediately lost it. So his body gets taken to, essentially, a coroner. The heart, despite not being in the body, starts beating. The man operating on it eats it, gains Jason's power, goes on a little mini-killing spree. It turns out that Jason can jump bodies by using a tongue that he injects in other people. The other plot is Johnny Nerdjock wants to stop Jason. The only way to do that is by having a Voorhees kill him, and it turns out that Jason has had a sister, and then she had a daughter who also had a daughter, so essentially one of those three people can kill Jason. He tries to kill them, and they don't find out till the end that they have to kill him, and then Jason dies.
Yeah, basically she stabs him and hands come up to drag Jason down into hell.
Yeah, and then at the very, very, very end of the movie, Freddy's claw comes out, grabs Jason's mask, and pulls that to hell.
Freddy Krueger's glove appears. Until now, the Friday series has been a Paramount picture. This is the first new line when they got the rights to the character Jason. Friday the 13th was not uttered in this at all, and that is why this is called Jason Goes to Hell. And since Freddy's a New Line property, they decided to do that glove pull in and kind of make it like, get the mano a mano thing going on.
Because it's not what my dreams wanted it to be, I was disappointed.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna watch a Jason movie, I want to see Jason do the kills. I understand your belief that since this is at least a little bit of a departure, it makes it more enjoyable than, let's say, a clone of Camp Crystal Lake Counselor's Death, which I agree, but I almost feel like they went
too far.
Sure.
I came in with no expectations, and therefore I was pleasantly surprised and also bored, depending on the scene.
Jason X, a much maligned entry in the series, but anyone who enjoyed Friday 6, where they started getting jokey, can have just as much fun with Jason X. Only Jason movie I owned before the Night Marathon.
Yeah. Faithful viewers, I bid you adieu.
And then there was me and Eliza.
David Cronenberg, man. You gotta go to bed.
Up into it.
This whole middle section is really slow. People just walking the halls searching for him. Uber Jason. In 2001 we have Jason X. Crystal Lake now has a research facility. It's in the future, 2010-ish. Jason has been captured and he's being studied for his regenerative abilities. Young scientist wants to make sure that she can get him cryogenically frozen for the safety of everybody. He kills a bunch of people in the lab. She ends up cryogenically freezing him, getting frozen herself with him. 455 years later, they both get thawed out. He thaws himself out and starts killing everybody on the ship. That's pretty much the deal. Jason in space. You know, he goes around a spaceship killing a bunch of young, good-looking research scientists and Marines. I've never seen so many Marines, Space Marines, in crop tops, actually. At the end, there's a big showdown between the female droid, and then they have to slow him down by doing a simulation of Camp Crystal Lake, which is hilarious. Some of the people we know escape while Jason, the whole space station explodes, and he rides down onto Earth 2, I believe, as a, like, comet arriving in a lake where a lovely couple is having a nice evening. It's good time. There's a bunch of really funny lines in it, and as long as you go in knowing that you're just using the Jason mythology for basically a laugh, then I don't know what there is to complain about. If you watch the first Friday the 13th, and then you watch Jason X, you would see no parallel. You would not know how they got from one to the other. But having gone through the mythology and watching the slow evolution all day, I mean, you take the basic Jason mythology, and then you put him in space, and watch him kill a bunch of good-looking people in the future. In space. Freddy versus Jason. Oh, it's so nice to see Freddy.
My best friend was just killed, Dad. So how about giving me some...
This is so weird to be watching this right now. After all of these Friday the 13th movies, this is a weird experience. Metal. Freddy versus Jason. For the second time, in our annual night marathon. This time through, it was very surreal. I love Monica Keena. I think she's great. This movie is very weird. No longer like any kind of story is being told. A mixture of mythologies and then a series of set pieces. Like this would be a cool Freddy set piece, this would be a cool Jason set piece. And teenagers like raves, getting drunk, getting on each other. And then we try and find a way to mix it all together and make that happen. It's fine. It's more like a publicity stunt. It looks very nice. Like Freddy talking directly to the camera. There's nothing that would ever happen. Oh, let Jason have his fun. It's really nice to see Freddy tonight, though. The plot of this movie is simple. The people of Springwood have forgotten about Freddy Krueger, so that the children are no longer having nightmares. He no longer has any power. So he finds a way to resurrect Jason, to send Jason out to kill people so that people get scared and think about Freddy Krueger. As Freddy gets stronger, Jason won't stop killing people, and then he gets mad about it, and so they have to start confronting each other in a series of scenes. Freddy is better at the dream world, Jason seems better at the real world, and it's almost 3 in the morning. So let's go into let's go into our final feature of the night. Friday the 13th, 2009, the reboot.
Right outside! Oh. Hanson! No! It's just like any other Friday the 13th movie, just with more teal in the mids. Good, finally.
It was very much a Friday the 13th movie. Good-looking people go out, get killed by Jason, and then the whole last third is very, very slow. People moving through shadows looking for Jason, Jason popping up, killing people, stuff like that. It's a Friday the 13th movie, just with a little more modern dress. And the hairstyles don't look quite as funny. Very pretty, nicely photographed. Over the credits we see young Jason watch his mother get beheaded. We see him take revenge on a small group of campers, pillowcase overhead, just like in 2. And then we meet Jared Padalecki of Supernatural and Gilmore Girls, and yeah, I was very, very sleepy. It's 4:30 in the morning. I want to go to bed. So, Friday the 13th series as a whole. Did it all in a row. What do we think? I'd have to go Friday the 13th Part 2 would be the best, followed by Part 1. Worst? Probably a tie between Part 3 and Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. But I don't mind the ones where things go wildly away from what the series was originally meant to be. There are a couple links if you want to watch the Nightmare on Elm Street one we did and the Halloween one that we did. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm sure this is super long. And thank you to everybody who came and watched movies with me today. As for how the Friday the 13th series stacks up against the other 2 movie marathons that we did, I'd say it goes in order. Like, best marathon, Nightmare on Elm Street, followed by Halloween. If you just want to axe off the Rob Zombies, I would not blame you. And Resurrection. Just stop. Just stop after H2O. And then the Friday the 13th one. Very long day. I hope you guys have a happy Halloween. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you did in the comments. Happy Halloween!